SA's National Chairperson Michael Beaumont is warning fellow multi-party coalition members about considering governance arrangements with the ANC after the May vote. In a leaked letter, he reminds signatories that one of the terms of agreement stipulated that members can't work with the ANC to keep it in power. Fellow multi-party charter member and ACDP leader Reverend Kenneth Meshoe joins us now for his reaction to this. Rev, good to have you, and thank you very much for coming on. Is the multi-party charter on shaky ground following the utterances by leader of the Democratic Alliance, John Steenhuisen, who says he did not rule out a possibility of the DA going into some co-governing arrangement with the ANC to avoid what he calls a doomsday scenario?
Good evening, Thabo, and thank you very much for consulting us about our response to the letter written by the chairman of Action SA. We agree with him. You know, when an agreement is made, particularly after what John has been saying to the public, particularly to opposition political parties, that we must make sure that we do not have an ANC government. We must work together to deny them that opportunity. But for him to be quoted and to behave saying what he said, that creates instability in the multi-party charter, because it looks like he's now working on plan B. It's like the man wants to be in government regardless. If it does not work with the multi-party charter, then option B will be work with the ANC, which we believe is dishonest, disingenuous, and the ACDP is against and opposed to the kind of politicking that he's doing. And if he continues this way, and he does not want to come out clearly and openly to all the multi-party charter partners, clarifying his position, clarifying what he said and what he meant, the ACDP will consider whether to continue with this multi-party charter agreement or not, because you cannot have people violating their own charter, violating something that they also initiated, that none of us who are in the multi-party charter should be negotiating and working with the ANC or planning to do that as something to fall back on if things don't go right. Now, we are disappointed, to be honest with you, that he has made such a statement, and we are going to be from now on watching and analyzing all statements he made. And I repeat that if it can be very clear that he's moving in that direction, he's making negotiations with the ANC so that the possibility of working with them would become a reality. If we working with the multi-party charter does not work, then the ACDP will definitely reconsider our commitment with the multi-party charter.
Okay, maybe before we get to the doomsday scenario, let me just ask, how are you holding the DA accountable for that statement? Have you sought clarity on that view?
We have sought clarity, and we have requested a meeting tonight. That did not happen. And in that meeting, this issue was going to be raised. So the next few days, we will pursue our attempt to also meet so that this statement and these movements of him be clarified. He is giving an indication to the public that I am working on plan B. He must clearly tell us what is that plan B, because parties like the ACDP have clearly stated we will not work with the ANC, because everybody can see what the ANC has been doing the past 30 years in government, and we do not want to continue with people or rescuing people who everybody knows, who read newspapers, that they are definitely declining. We don't want to rescue those who are declining because of their own mistakes and foolishness that they have done. They have failed to deal with people involved in corruption. When they were saying DA is zero tolerance, has a zero tolerance policy towards corruption. That is the position of the ACDP. We will not allow ourselves to be dragged into a situation where we work with people that are evidently, very clearly, part of the corruption we've seen in South Africa.
So there are some political analysts and experts who have said maybe the multi-party charter may have to make some considerations, particularly if all of you in the multi-party charter agree that ANC, EFF, MK coalition is undesirable. So let's start there. As the ACDP, do you think that a ANC, EFF, Criticises party coalition is appropriate?
Well, MK, there's not much we can say about MK right now because they are still newcomers. Whether they have changed their spots, their colors, we are not sure yet. We'll still see. But we know definitely with the ANC and the EFF, we have been with them for years. We know that the ANC covers corruption, even though they might deny it. And we know that the EFF is very disrespectful to authority, to elderly people, and we cannot be seen to be working with such people. They have disqualified themselves. As far as the ACDP is concerned, no ANC, no EFF working together or coalition to be more specific.
Yeah. What about the view that if you have, for example, the multi-party charter or maybe even the Democratic Alliance as a representative of the MPC might be able at least to hold the ANC accountable in a coalition with the ANC?
If we failed to hold the ANC accountable or to cause them to stop and distance themselves from corruption and people that are corruption, failing to do that in opposition is also going to fail again in bed with them, because this seems to be in their blood. And if it is in their blood, it is not going to change, is it? There are many people with good morals who went into the ANC saying, we want to change them from within. They have not been able to change the ANC from within. What has happened is that ANC has managed to change some of them. So if he comes such an argument, ACDP will not accept that argument because it will not work. It does not work the past 30 years.
Yeah. Actioners says, Michael Bowman says in one of the interviews, well, those who want to work with the ANC must leave the charter. I think you've repeated something similar to that. But one would say the Democratic Alliance brings a lot of weight to the multi-party charter in terms of their membership that they've garnered in the 30 years. So them leaving the charter could leave the charter in a vulnerable position if the charter really wants to govern.
The charter would be better for them or for us to remain smaller, but principled, and maintaining our character of zero tolerance to corruption and also maintain our integrity rather than become bigger while we are compromised in the same time. So I would not have a problem. If the DA leaves with their numbers and percentages, I will not have a problem. I will applaud those who are remaining, who are saying we can rather be small and maintain our integrity and maintain our transparency and our honesty and retain our principles than compromise, weaken our foundation just because we want to be seen to be big in numbers. For me and for the ACDP, numbers are not an issue. People must respect us. South Africa needs respect, leaders that are showing respect, particularly to the younger generation, the young people who want to live and follow people of high moral integrity. And that's what we are trying to do, even as we are in the multi-party charter. And that's one of the reasons why we say we do not want to be involved with the ANC and we do not want to be involved with the EFF because of their disrespect, and ANC because of corruption. I mean, we are in Ekurhuleni. We know that Ekurhuleni is dirty now. We know that even the Auditor General, his report was very slating. Her report was very, very slating, was very, very hard and harsh. Why? Because of mismanagement. So in Ekurhuleni, we have had a mayor, or we have had a finance minister and finance MEC who is from the EFF, and the accounts are not clean at all, the reports are not clean at all. So we have seen what these guys can do, and we are saying we don't want to waste our time with them.
Yeah. So for you, I mean, you've made the statement, but just for clarity, you're saying the multi-party charter should not pursue to govern at all costs, which you're saying this feels as though this is what John Steenhuisen is leaning towards, to say they will want to govern at whatever cost.
Definitely our advice to the multi-party charter is that if we cannot, while maintaining our principles, our respect, our transparency, and other values that we hold dearly, if we do not grow while we are holding on to those values and principles, rather, let's remain what we are than compromise and later on become like the ANC. I don't want the ACDP to ever come to a stage where people will be saying they are the same. All right? People must know we are different. It is not becoming part of government at all costs. Not with the ACDP. It is not at all costs. We will not compromise values that have made us what we are today.
But is that not, Rev, the very same reason that is giving us this fruit of uncertainty and of mistrust or trust challenges? The very fact that you are in the multi-party charter with parties that ideologically might differ to what you aspire to as the ACDP. And therefore, this will constantly be creating this shakiness. And do you think that shakiness is healthy?
We, as I said earlier, we have spoken to our partners. They know areas where we are different. Now, we are definitely having some policies that are different, and we have agreed to differ. Now, on those issues that we believe can push the South Africa forward, issues that we have agreed on, we expect every member, including the DA, to hold fast to that. And the ACDP is also doing her best to hold fast to that. And anybody who compromises that for the sake of power, I guarantee you, Mr. Mjuli, that person will ultimately do what the ANC is doing. That's why I'm saying it will not be part of government at all costs. No, we are saying our values and principles have to remain intact. That's what our members who allowed us to be part of this multi-party charter have said to us. For as long as we don't move on who you are, on who we are fine. Let's continue. We'll see how far we'll go. But now we are starting to think we might backtrack. Why? Because of such statements that multi-party charter is our first choice. But if it does not work, we will consider. We don't mind considering working with the ANC so that we keep the radicals out. Who are those radicals? Now, does ANC not have radicals? ANC does have radicals, and it has corrupt people that have brought the country where it is today.
Rev, appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us. ACDP leader there, Reverend Kenneth Meshoe.